Hey, how you doing? This is John, and welcome to John's Long Box. I had some technical difficulties, which made me delete a stream. Oh, now I got crazy here. I got technical difficulty in my hair. And I normally stream at 10 a.m. It is currently 6:20 p.m. I'm sorry if I confused anybody about the time. I worked this morning. They're starting Sunday overtime. Now, that wouldn't have been a problem because I worked last Sunday, but because of the holiday, the, there's less people at work, so they didn't open up a second shift. So if you wanted to work the overtime on Sunday, the only choice was 6:30 start. So I started at 6:30, and then I came home and took a nap. It's just weird to change your sleep schedule, at the drop of a hat. So groggy today. Just and then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I will be working regular hours, 6:30 start in the morning, coming home. So I might do some streaming this week, and then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday I'm off. I hope to finish with all of these comics, all the pre-orders, all the fulfillments, whatever it's called. I told you I'm groggy, and then back to Monday, 3 o'clock start in the afternoon. So, I don't like the schedule, but you don't want to be a complainer. Just write it out. All right. So yes, it's late Sunday comics. Yep. I was just gonna say I missed it and let it go, but I saw that I hadn't missed the Sunday comics in like 2 years, so I didn't want to miss it. So hope you have a blessed Sunday. I did. I'm having some pizza. We got a pizza yesterday at a Cafe Amici, it's called here. And when we first moved here, the real estate agent recommended it. And we got a pizza delivered, and we weren't too impressed. And then we went to another place, and we weren't too impressed, but it was better than the first place. So guess there's no good pizza out here. And then my wife, like 2 weeks ago, suggested, let's go there and sit down and try again. So we went and got pizza, which is normally what I do. When I go to a new pizzeria, I like to get a whole pie, and eat it in the restaurant on that metal tray. That is the best pizza you're going to get. And oh my God, was the pizza good. I took a picture of it, put it on Twitter. And then yesterday I had to go get my oil changed. And I just brought it to the mechanic. And then I'm glad I did, because he says, your brakes are screwed, but they weren't making any noise, and I didn't notice. But so I got my brakes changed. So I was a little pissed. I spent a little bit more money than I wanted to. So she's like, let's go get pizza. So we went back, and that made my day. So I'm having leftover. We got, half pepperoni, half sausage, and I only ate 2 slices yesterday, and I'm eating the other 2. That's how filling this pizza is. So good. Where's my issue 2? I'm hoping it comes. Hoping it comes soon. I forget what your first real name is. It doesn't say what geeks do on your. Did you get an announcement? But I'm fulfilling. I'm hoping to be done by this Saturday. So just give me 2 more weeks. Give me 2 more weeks, and I hope you get it. I'm gonna right after this. I'm gonna go back to filling out boxes. Greetings from Raleigh, North Carolina. How is it down there? Happy Sunday. Thank you. Funny Laughters. How you doing, Funny Laughters? I don't recognize the name, so I guess you're new. Good to see you. I guess that's one good thing about changing your time is you do get to see people that have never popped in before. So it's good to see you. Yeah, I know. But I'm also flattered that even if you're joking, like I kind of hope that you're anxious to get my comic. You know what I mean? So I used to argue with everybody on the internet, and then my wife is like, it's driving me crazy. And I literally said one day, from now on, I'm going to take everything in the best possible light, unless I know absolutely that it was meant as an insult. So when I got that, I just figured you were joking. That's just, I trained myself to think that way. I fail once in a while, but for the most part, anything I see on the internet, how can I interpret this in a positive light? And it really changes the way you look at things. It keeps you sane, better. Every once in a while, I fall into the pit of despair and argue with people, and I'm not proud of myself, and it never ends well. But that's a me thing, I'm working on it. Hello from across the pond. How you doing, Scott Jonesy? Good. How are you? Is that you in front of that door? That very elegant looking, suave and debonair. Flema Rosa, how you doing? I like that. I like that. What is that? An archway made out of stones or cheese? Yeah, it looks like stone. Evening Comics, nice. How's everybody? Hey, Ben Sabar, voice actor. Good to see. Yeah, I threw everybody for a loop because as I was saying, I worked in the morning because of the holiday. They didn't have the second shift, so all of this week, starting today to next Sunday, or actually starting Saturday, but we didn't have Saturday overtime. From Saturday to Sunday, 7 days, there's only one shift. So if I wanted the overtime, I had to go in at 6 like everybody else, which was nice because I got to drive onto the job site. Tomorrow, I'm actually going to have to drive way far away from the drive. There's a huge parking lot, and then the GC, the general contractor, hires a bus to shuttle us back and forth. That's no fun because the second shift, it's maybe a tenth of the amount of people we could park right on the job site. So, yep. Still drinking coffee. It's weird to just switch your shift in one day. You sleep. Yes, I'm invited to 10 Downing Street. Oh, cool. I'd like to hear that story. Oi. I'm seeing some new names, new people. A lot of people popping in real early. So, for those of you who are new to my channel, hello, thank you. Thank you for popping in. This is a show that I've been doing for, like 2 years, and I haven't missed a show. So I didn't want to miss today. I was going to pre-record it. And I've done that before once. I think I had to go to a wedding. And that one I did because I was going to be gone all day. But this one I said, I'm not going to pre-record. I'll just do it later because I do like the interaction. I do like to talk to people. I do like to, I started this channel to talk to people. I'm a weirdo. I like to talk to people. So, pre-recording it that'll be fine if I have to miss the entire Sunday. Like if I was working like, an extreme shift or I have to go to a wedding or something like that, which I think is what happened when I pre-recorded it last time. So for anybody who's new, who's just popping in because they like the X-Men, they don't know who I am. I'm John. This is John's Long Box, where I just talk about comic books. And I have my own comic book called Heroic Tales. Number 2 is currently in fulfillment. That's what I'm doing when I'm not doing this. If I'm at work, I'm not fulfilling because I'm at work. But if I'm home, I'm either eating, sleeping, or fulfilling comics. And I hope to be done on Sunday. I 4-day weekend. Got no excuse. Let's get her done, and everybody will have their comic. And I over-ordered, so I have extra copies if anybody wants to get in on it. The Geeky Catholic says, hello, John. How you doing? I got trapped in the other stream. It's not even stream. Yeah, it was really weird. It started, and then I went to check the comments, and it ended on me. So I got nervous when this one, I thought something happened. I don't know what it was. Technical difficulties. I must have hit the button without realizing it because sometimes, I don't know. Sometimes I do things I'm not supposed to do. So I don't know what happened. I'm speculating that when I moved my coffee over to the side, I must have hit the mouse and hit the button. That's what I think. Hey, Frederick Lamont, congratulations to fulfilling. I'm looking forward to get that point on my comic. Frederick Lamont, he is live right now on Fun My Comic with the comic called Rattel. And yours is already board and boxed. Yours was actually one of the first ones I did, but it's Canada. Sorry. Canada gives me the most problems. Last campaign, I had more returns from Canada than any other country combined because of there's like a number that you have to fill out. So at the end of the campaign, all orders from Canada and England, because I sent them to Holland with no problem. So Canada and England at the end, I'm going to go to the post office in one shot and fill out the paperwork in the post office. So yeah, so yours is already bagged the box. It's right over there. This does look different. Yeah, YouTube is experimenting with this new, or StreamYard rather. It makes 2 streams, a vertical for your phone and a landscape for your home computer. I'm trying to navigate this weirdness. Bear with me. There's two choices. Pick whichever one you like. To be honest, after the stream, I delete the vertical one. But all the comments come over here and everything like that. It just drives me nuts to see two of them, on the list, on my YouTube list of videos. It's not like it used to be, and I don't like change. Shipping to Canada is the worst. The post office is on a rolling strike. Yes, my wife is from Canada, and she keeps ordering. Not keeps, makes it sound like she does it every day, but every once in a while, and especially for the holidays and my birthday, she orders from this company called Canadian Favorites. And what it does is there's a guy there who buys products that are in Canada but not in the United States. I didn't realize there was so many different things that, for whatever reason, that's not available in the United States and vice versa. So she puts in an order every once in a while. And one of the things I'm absolutely addicted to is hickory sticks. They don't have them in the States. So she'll order a couple bags of hickory sticks, some other stuff. Kraft dinner always makes me laugh. We say mac and cheese in America. Canada, they say Kraft dinner. Never fails to make me giggle when I see a box of Kraft dinner in the house. And she orders stuff like that. And they returned to sender twice. So she called up the guy. The guy is like livid, not at my wife or anything. He's just like, yeah, I don't know what's going on. So he just reimbursed my wife the money. I think, what? Can you not ship to Canada? I'm from Canada anymore. I have no idea. So Canadian troubles. I get the thumbs up. Okay, so for those of you who are watching, who are new, I'm seeing a couple of new names. Every Sunday, I just take a comic and I go through the whole thing, talk about the comic, where I was, just a conversation about the comics. And then when it's over, I'll keep talking as long as the stream is going. So at this point forward, I'm going to talk about the comic, then go to the comments, then change the page. And that's the format of the show. Ta-da! All right, so let's check this out. Let me get a little bit more light. I seem a little bit more lively. No, that's not 10 in the morning. Okay, so I started this series with Giant Size X-Men #1, and I've been going in chronological order or numerical order. So we're up to 112. This is 1978. I love this cover. Now, the funny thing is, I literally haven't looked at this cover in 20 years. I've seen like little pictures of it online and stuff like that, but now I'm looking at it for the first time. I don't know why, but in my mind, this was John Byrne artwork. And when I pulled it out, the first thing that struck me was Storm's face. That's not a John Byrne face. So I was like, okay, it's not John Byrne. Is it Dave Cockrum? And I'm like, no, that doesn't look like Dave Cockrum. And then I see all this machinery in the background, and I said, that's George Perez. So I see right over here, it's George Perez, inked by Bob Layton. So there you go. John Byrne did not have a cover yet. For the longest time, I thought this was the first John Byrne cover because Dave Cockrum was drawing the X-Men, and he handed it off to John Byrne. I don't know the exact reasons why, but Dave Cockrum was still doing the covers. He was the big name. John Byrne was the new upcoming guy at the time, so he wasn't a superstar yet. This is where this comic is what made him a superstar. So I guess they didn't have faith in him. I don't know. Or did he have a contract? Who knows? I don't know. I don't know why Marcus isn't here. He'll tell me if he shows up. But so last issue, well, they'll probably tell us inside. Let's go inside. Oh, let's look. Yeah. I like Canadians, but they can't do it socialism any better than it. I know. I don't know what's going on. Perez cover. Nice. It is really nice. I love this cover. I love Wolverine over here freaking out. And I love pointing out, like we're supposed to pretend that all these characters are born with, they're mutants. So we're supposed to pretend that's the conceit. They're born with these powers or whatever. But in reality, they're developed as the writers come up with ideas. Like at this point, we just know his name is Logan. The elves in the castle tell us his name is Logan, but nobody else knows. We don't know anything about his past. Len Wein created him and never gave him an origin. At one point, he was created by when I say one point, I'm talking like in the brainstorming sessions that Len Wein was like, yeah, I think he was an actual Wolverine mutated by the high evolutionary. Other people said he was just a trained agent that had gloves with claws installed on him. Other people said he just had bionic claws and he wasn't a mutant. And then when they put him in the X-Men, they just didn't address it. And as of right now, all we know about him is his name is Wolverine. He's from Canada. He has claws. We've seen them come out of his body. It's not gloves. But we haven't heard anything about heightened smell, heightened senses. But we have seen the Berserker rage, So that he's developing. Same with Nightcrawler. He's developing powers as we go along. Let's go. Okay, people got in under the wire. We got Garfield. Hey, John, how you doing, buddy? Weapon X is the best origin. Yeah, was that Barry Windsor Smith artwork, right? All right, so now we are in the comic. First, let's check out that ad. Get into shape. Right over your peepee. And then we got this beautiful splash page. And I'm going to treat this one as like an introductory because I'm seeing new names. So a splash page is when there's only one panel on a page. Usually, but not always, it's the first page in a comic book. A splash page. So we got the credits over here. We got Chris Claremont, author, John Byrne, penciler, Terry Austin, inker, Bruce Patterson, letterer, M. Titus, colorist, Jim Shooter, editor, and Magneto, triumphant. Look at this beautiful splash page. Look at this. This is oh my God. This is the pinnacle of comics right here. What did I say? Yeah, August 1978. Look at this artwork over here. We got these great costumes. We got the Beast down here. Nightcrawler, Cyclops, Storm. Look how tall they're making her. They put her in the back because she's tall and she's next to Colossus in height. I think that is it something that they've forgotten? That Storm is tall and regal. Banshee, Jean Grey, Phoenix, Wolverine, just great names, great costumes, great art. Oh man. I mean, if I was a kid, I would have been just pulled right in from the splash page. It's funny because I'm looking because right here there's an asterisk. It says X-Men 104 Jim. So there's a note. Now usually there's an asterisk someplace else and it tells you to go and read the editor's note, but there's no asterisk up here. I'm guessing it's supposed to be here. So I don't normally just read the whole comic, but I'm just going to read this just to point out an error that I just noticed. This gentleman's name is Magneto. Magneto's a gentleman, in case you were wondering. A man that new X-Men have fought once before in their brief careers. So he beat them hands down. So there should be an asterisk here. And it says X-Men 104. I'm a man of my word, mutants. I swore to destroy you, and I shall. Dun, dun, dun. Magneto is always a bad matchup for Wolverine. Yeah. Magneto Magneto could take out Wolverine and Colossus. Now, at this point, I mean, it's established that he has the metal claws, but it's not established that he has the metal skeleton yet. So that'll be interesting. I'm going to watch this. I'm going to watch this issue for that to be taken out. Remember, Wolverine was kind of a blank slate. Len Wein, why can't I think of the artist? Len Wein, John Romita, and somebody else were the Herb Trimpe, I think, were all the artists that created Wolverine, but they didn't establish much about him other than tough guy with claws. And he was like a one-shot guy, and then they brought him into the X-Men, and they were just develop him as they go along. So as of right now, I don't think they ever established that he has metal bones, and they haven't established he can regenerate. They haven't established that he has the heightened senses. The heightened senses guys was Thunderbird. So let's that's something to think about. Now Colossus, it's already been established that he turns into organic steel. So Colossus and Wolverine are like the least effective guys against Magneto. I think, and then Storm, lightning and stuff like that is going to be reduced effectiveness against a guy who can control magnetics, because electricity is basically magnetics. So and Magneto's a master. He's not like Electro, who's just like a brute. Like Magneto is mastermind, genius level guy. So he could be able to deal with Storm. To me, the ones who could deal with Magneto the most is Cyclops. There's nothing Magneto's powers could do to block Cyclops. Magnetics against this kinetic force, and sound. Sound, as far as I know, sound vibrations aren't hindered by magnetics. So to me, if I was Magneto, take out these two guys first. And what's this comment? Colossus looks puny. Yeah, he doesn't look gigantic. Yeah, he became like Juggernaut size later on. For whatever reason, that is my favorite look of Beast. You and me both. Beast down here this is the Beast that I was introduced to. That's the Beast that I love. The John Byrne, George Perez Beast is the best. Those were the comics a lot of modern day manga authors are inspired by. The creator of My Hero Academia loved West. I gotta read that. People keep reminding me about that. Magneto triumphant, huh? If one of the X-Men or Marvel villains had to win, which one would be the least bad for humanity? That's a good question. Give me some time to think about that. I mean, Magneto would oppress the humans. Dr. Doom would be, a tyrant. I think out of to show his magnanimity, he would make it so that nobody starved, nobody was diseased, but nobody would have any freedom. We all know what Red Skull would do. Interesting. I didn't know that about Wolverine's origin. Yeah, it was developed piecemeal. He was a man of mystery for the longest time. Let's go to the next page. I got to move this over. I'm being careful that I don't hit the mouse and turn off this stream like I did before. That's what I think I did. So Wolverine is already rushing him. You only won last time, Buckethead, because Cyclops turned chicken and made us run. Back off, Wolverine. That's an order. If Magneto goads us into an attack, we're as good as dead. Hey, look at this. Magneto has a purple cape. I had it on good authority that no comic professional would ever have a purple as a major color for a masculine character. Who'd have figured that Jack Kirby, John Byrne, Chris Claremont, all these people were not professional comic book pros? Now look at this. Magneto is just a raving lunatic at this point. He's not Mr. Mutant rights activist or anything like that. He's just a maniac at this point. Maniacal. I mean, he freaking dresses up like Satan. You know what I mean? Like, okay, I'm the good guy. I just want to save everybody. Why are you dressed like the devil? Why not give your madman a little moment of glory? He could learn a mess. He's toying with us. What kind of ace in his hole has he got? Everybody outside on the double. Nightcrawler, scout ahead. Cyclops, it's Nightcrawler. I'm afraid X-Men, the United of Surprises has only begun. So this is Cyclops. Whether he's right or wrong, he's the leader. He's like, Magneto's just goading us. He's doing something. He's got a scheme. This is a schemer. This isn't a brute. We can't fight him here on his terms. He has a plan. So Nightcrawler, go outside, see what's going on. We got to get someplace else. So remember, they were captured by Warhawk. Not Warhawk. They were captured by Mesmero last issue. And Mesmero took over their minds and basically put false personalities. For how long, we don't know. We know it was a couple of weeks because Beast figured out that they were missing and went finding him. And they lived as circus freaks. So they are inside Jean Grey's wagon. So I love that like this circus was it time, it still had wooden wagons, stuff like that. Circuses don't do that. They have trailers, with internal combustion engines, but it's cool. So Colossus smashed open the door and they're flying. Why? Magneto is pulling this circus wagon to wherever it is Magneto needs to go. Now, this is a funny little story, little anecdote. Back in the Newsarama days, back in the forum days, the dark ages of around 2005, I remember they had Marvel Comics Forum, Newsarama Forum, the Outhousers. I forget which one it was. My name back then was Food Eater Lad. I was the bugbear of that site because I was the lone conservative. And we used to have like fights. Who would win in a fight? And Magneto was unbelievable, madam. And so I said Captain Marvel, Shazam, or Superman. I said Superman sees Magneto and then just flies up into above the clouds, shoots heat vision at him. I said magnetics can't do a damn thing about heat. Matter of fact, heat weakens magnetics. So he just hits Magneto with his heat vision. Magneto's done. There's nothing he can do about it. So this guy would get so bad. Magneto does more. He could control all matter. And this was his proof that he took this wagon up in the air. And I said, he's picking it up by the nails. He's not manipulating magnetics and carrying wood. This thing is held together by nails. And he said, no, it's carpentry so well done that you could make it. I said, does it say that? You know, like, you're going to tell me that there's wooden spoke through this? You know, that the underneath the carriage, there's usually a metal bar. You know, I said, you're stretching. Magneto can't control wood. He could only control, ferrous metals. Like aluminum would give Magneto pause. Take your magnet, put your magnet on coins and stuff like that. Find out which ones can't be controlled by magnetics. So here they're flying. The elf is safe, big fella, but Buckethead ain't. If you want me, Madman, here I am. I defy you to do yours, bub. That's music to my ears. Sun out like Magneto's goading him. Go ahead, attack me, kill me, then you fall to your death. The only X-Men that can fly are Storm and Banshee. Interesting. Oh, a lot of comments. Was Cyclops visor metal? Could Magneto just remove? Good question. It looks metal, but I don't know. Good question. Is it some sort of plastic, ceramic polymer? I don't know. I don't think they've ever. If they have mentioned it, they haven't mentioned it yet. And it would be smart, given how many times they fight Magneto, that they would devise a plastic, ceramic, polymer, magic science visor. Good question. Purple is the color of royalty and wealth. It is extremely expensive and rare dye for the clothing back in the day. Yes, came from Phoenicia, home of the Phoenix. So the mythological Phoenix was purple. The Roman emperors wore purple, and then they traditionally drew Jesus with the purple cape to show that he was, royalty. Is this George Perez? No, this is John Byrne and Terry Austin. George Perez drew the cover. Were Magneto and Xavier established to have been friends yet, or is Magneto just a villain of the day right now? He's just a villain of the day right now, as far as I remember. I forget where they established that they knew each other, but as of right now, Magneto's he's just raving lunatic 5. He's mastermind raving lunatic villain 5 at this point. Digital webbing days. Aluminum is not magnetic. Yeah, so you could take an aluminum spike and impale an aluminum ruby quartz visor. There you go. So we know that the lens part itself is crystalline, not magnetic. So here we go. Thank you for all the comments. This is a lot of fun. Thank you. I don't want to switch to this time. Well, I can't because I'll be back. I'll be working. Wolverine, don't. You crazy loon. For once in your misbegotten life, think, man, before you act. We're 10 miles up here. Whose power do you think got us up here? What keeps us alive? Banshee and Storm can't carry anyone. There isn't enough air up here to support their powers. And even if they could, we'd all freeze before we reach the ground. Face it, Shortcake. The ball's in Magneto's court. And let him make the next move. So now, as you can see, the paneling is different. It's got like rounded edges. That indicates a break in time. So these are flashbacks. So why, Cyclops asks after Wolverine reluctantly sheathes his claws. Why us, Magneto? Why now? I told you, Cyclops, unfinished business. After leaving your island, I was distracted from my goal by some minor altercations with Captain America and Dr. Doom. See the Captain America Annual 4 and Champions number 15. But eventually, I made my way to Xavier's mansion. I found it deserted. It was obvious that that something had happened. But what and who was responsible? The Beast's sudden arrival interrupted me before I could begin and track you down. His demeanor suggested that he needed to find you urgently, so I decided to let him do the work for me. So I just followed. Magneto's following the Quinjet. Then we all get on the surfboard. The Dark Rider. World at War Comics. What's up, John? Got my issue 2 of Heroic Tales. Cool. How'd you write? Did you read it yet? What'd you think? You know, it's so much fun to see these reaction videos. If you wouldn't mind, could you put up on Twitter, a few good words, a picture, every little bit helps. I'm a struggling guy. Magneto is weak against aluminum like Superman is weak against magic. Right. Meaning it's just normal. He's goofing on me. Everybody says that Superman has a weakness to magic. And I say he doesn't have a weakness to magic. He just doesn't have resistance to magic. Superman is weak to magic the way I'm weak to magic, the way you're weak to magic, the way Cyclops is weak to magic. Magic affects Superman the way it affects everybody. So he's not, it's not like if Superman had a weakness to magic, that means magic would affect him more than everybody else. So Magneto is not weak to aluminum. Aluminum just reacts. It's as if Magneto's a normal person when it comes to aluminum. Oh, you love it. So you're at it. Thank you. Was it better? Was it better than issue 1? That's my goal, is every issue is to get better. I know I'm not Mr. Alan Moore, Stanley or anything like that, but I would like to think that I improve with every issue. Wait till you read Patriarch number 1. It's so good. And then I wrote Raven stories out of order. So I wrote the 3rd appearance of Raven story first, and it is so good. But I got to I can't just release that one because I need to build up to it. That story assumes a lot about the Raven, and plus Ron Mosicki, he's halfway through on page 1. I told him, take your time. It's even if he was done with it tomorrow, it wouldn't be released for 2 years. So he's taking his time because I promised Renzo he would do the first Raven story. So Renzo is doing the first Raven story and the second Raven story. Superman is weak to kryptonite, right? Because humans aren't affected by kryptonite. Superman is super affected by kryptonite. Love the continued character development. Thank you so much. Magneto is weak to his Holocaust memories. Or it makes him stronger and more resolute. So here we got Magneto following the Quinjet. Why the Quinjet doesn't pick him up? We'll just say that Beast was didn't expect to be followed or anything like that. So now what are we doing? We're following the last couple of issues, because remember, this was Jim Shooter's decree that every comic is somebody's first comic. So they're bringing everybody up to speed. Now, we just read it a week ago. Beast is at the circus. We got Magneto in the circus. Everybody's just, he sees the X-Men, like, what's going on? He sees the Beast running around, and Magneto's watching the Beast fight Mesmero. And this, we could see that the word balloons are, back to normal. For all of his vaunted power, Mesmero was less than nothing to me. A magnetic force blast took care of both him and the Beast. Oh, my aching head, Maggie. I thought you and me were just best buddies. Think too much, Beast. Had the rest of you not freed yourselves from Mesmero's conditioning, though, I'd have done it for you. We're supposed to be grateful? That makes no sense. Why is that Mesmero? He and you used to be allies, my dear Cyclops. I don't even know the man. The Magneto this fool served, the one who claimed to be the father of Lorna Dane, was a robot. Dun, dun, dun. As so dramatically revealed in X-Men 68. So, Magneto and Mesmero teamed up before, but it was really a robot. I just love how you can casually announce that that was a robot, that wasn't me. And people are like, oh yeah, okay. Only in comic books. And then barely half hours passed since they left Sullivan County, yet a flying wagon has gone over 4,000 miles from West Texas to the uncharted wilds of the Andes Mountains. Its flight has not gone unnoticed. So he's going to Peru. Not Peru. Yeah, Peru. Peru is in the Andes Mountain, right? Jaguar Control to Jaguar Leader. Would you have visual contact? Respond. He sounds angry, Commander. Do we not? Yes, I see it, George. That's Crystal, George, but I don't believe it. It's impossible. So we got either Chilean or Peru. Yeah, Chile is where the Andes Mountains is. We got Dracula over here. We got free bikes, burgers, and candy bars. So let's go. Let's join the Burger King Kit Friends Club over here. We got Grit Magazine. Oh, I forgot the comments. I like that the panels are rounded for flashbacks and square for present day. I'm going to use that in my comic. There you go. There you go. I've already used flashbacks, it's the thing about flash. You want to make it obvious that it's a flashback, so just they're good, but you gotta make it. Mesmero was the Magneto was a robot. Mesmero was Mesmero, but there was a Magneto robot. That was the one from X-Men '68. It's just there's a reason why X-Men didn't sell. Remember, X-Men was almost canceled, and then when it wasn't canceled, it was bi-monthly. Some kind of wagon painted like it's a part of a circus and flying at 70,000 feet. It's headed due south, climbing and pulling away from us as if we were standing still. Want me to shoot it down? How? We don't carry missile cat fast enough to catch it. Dios de mio, George. Look, something's being thrown out back. It's a man dropping towards the Amazon jungle, gentle as a feather. So Magneto has no more use of Mesmero, and he's just ejecting him, but he doesn't want him to die. He's landing. Now, is this because Magneto has use for him, or is this because Mesmero is a mutant? So now they can't catch up to this flying wagon, and they're looking at Mesmero. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, at this point, I've always pointed out that these stories are really, really lame. To me, the standout story was the Sentinels and Jean Grey turning into Phoenix in X-Men 99 and 100. Or was it 100 and 101? Whatever. That was the only real standout story so far. The rest of these are the flimsiest of premises, the flimsiest of motivations, but the art and the characterization and the dialogue is so cool that we almost don't. Well, I take the Ken with the crystal. I mean, it turned out to be a good story, but the connective tissue between the stories was just barely there. But this is just good writing, you know what I mean? I right around now is when I think Claremont gets his good footing down, and everything starts firing on all cylinders. You monster! Even if Mesmero was your most hated enemy, to casually hurl to his death, you underestimate my powers, young woman. I'm controlling Mesmero's descent. His landing will be painful, but that's no more than he deserves. You are my oldest foes, X-Men. My bitterest defeats have been at your hands. If anyone has earned the right to destroy you, it is I. Now, I kind of call BS on that, because his oldest and most bitterest foes just happened to be called X-Men, but they were different X-Men. It was Cyclops, Marvel Girl, Jean Grey, Iceman, and Beast. These, well, we got three of them. So all right, so we got three of them. So he's got to go get Angel and Iceman. He's got no problems with Storm. Storm's never defeated him. Colossus has never defeated him. Wolverine's never defeated him. Nightcrawler's never defeated him. It's just that he's going after like the name, but whatever. He's a madman at this point. We got this pad. That's cool. You get a blank pad with all of the Marvel characters on it. So write your notes, draw your comics over there. Get some comics. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Zach Tan is here. Oh, I guess you don't have to leave for church. He'll be here for the whole episode. A strange series of events rather than an arc. Pretty much. I don't know what's going on. Can you see that? Are we having technical difficulties? Somebody say something in the comments to let me know that I'm still live. Oh, no. Can you see that, everybody? Are we back? It looks, is it storming over here? It looked like it was going to storm. No, it's not. It's clear. I don't know why that happened. Sorry about that. I hear clicking. Everything's working. There you go. Magneto is a collectivist. They are wearing a team jersey. Pretty much. The stream is still live. Good. I thought maybe it just ended on me like the other one did. So now where are they going? They're over land again. The bleak, desolate expanse of snow and earth ice. That's the seventh of Earth's continents, Antarctica. So they're flying. They go over the Andes. They go into Antarctica, and they're finding a bubbling crater, a bubbling cauldron. And what does he do? They start going down. Magneto is using his powers to move the lava. They're going down, and they got a base. I mean, literally, this is a supervillain base inside an active volcano. You can't get any cooler than that, even though it's hot. And what do? They're landing. There's opens up. Magneto's using his power to keep the lava at bay, and they just land. And as he lands, he just shatters this thing. God's the wagon. Welcome to my humble home, X-Men. I hope you like it because you won't be leaving. And then we get this schematic of Magneto's underground base. Home it may be, but this underground complex is far from the humble. Buried a mile beneath the ice cap, it covers an area of 5 square miles, one of a number of similar installations Magneto has scattered throughout the globe. Drawing its power directly from the Earth's core, virtually impregnable, a masterpiece of automagy that would do Tony Stark or Reed Richards proud. That is so freaking cool. That is just super villainy. Literally, he has a lair at the bottom of a volcano. I never noticed this before. So it's not really an active volcano. These prongs are blasting energy, and that's what's melting it. So he found like an extinct volcano, and then it's supposed to be going down and tapping the heat, the thermal energy, powering up everything, and he's creating false volcanic activity on the top, I guess, to keep those snooping Scooby gangs away. I think we're back. That is a cool base. You're dropping packets. Are you on Wi-Fi? Yeah, I'm on Wi-Fi. I don't know what that means. Am I dropping packets? That sounds like something you young kids say at the raves. I wonder who's his contractor. You know what's funny? Zach 10, I think about stuff like that. All the time. Like if you notice, well, I only have 2 comic books out, but there really hasn't been super bases yet. Because I think who built these? Like me being in construction, I can't help think like how long would this have taken? How many people? Yeah, granted, Magneto probably built it himself using his powers, but that is like even building it with your powers, like that's a little hard to believe, but we believe it anyway. We choose to because it's cool. Like I would really like to see, and I know they have like a damage control and they clean up after villains. I would really like to see like a super secret organization that builds bases and stuff like that. Giving me ideas for my comment. There you go. Thank you for that comment. You've given me an idea. If you can, try to use an Ethernet cable, RJ45. RJ45, come in, Chewie. RJ45, come in, Chewie. It just sounds like a Star Wars name. Let's go to the next panel page. The X-Men, however, no, none of that. The moment they have is more pressing. He's made his move exactly as I figured. He would have had no chance to alert the others. That's Cyclops, always thinking. I got to start things off myself and work everyone else in as we go along. I hate to disillusion you, Magneto, but zapping us isn't going to be easy. Take him, Colossus. So boom. And this is, as far as I know, the first time there's Zakao. Like, I really like the consistency in the special effects. Like the Legion of Superheroes. They must have like 40 members of Legion of Superheroes. And the Jim Shooter, Paul Levitz, Keith Giffen era, Steve Leahy era, they at least kept it consistent what everybody's energy beams look like and sound effects look like. So you like there was a famous page of them all shooting Darkseid, astound this star Stoneface, and you can see like it's from the Legion's point of view, so you don't see them, but you just see the rays hitting Darkseid. Darkseid's going like this, and you could oh, that's Mon-El, that's Cosmic War. You know what I mean? You knew all of their powers by the individual rays. So like Cyclops beam over here, they color it consistently. It's got this cow, and it's force. It's not heat. It's not laser. You know, I hate when people say Cyclops is laser vision. It's like being hit by the Hulk. You know, it's a force kinetic blast. Be my pleasure, Cyclops. Impressive punch, Colossus, but my shields have withstood stronger. Have you not forgotten against me? Your armored form makes you the weakest X-Man. Tactical error on Cyclops' part. Now, unless he really thought that this force blast was going to stun Magneto, sending Colossus was the worst mistake, you know, because literally Colossus is a weapon now. You know, he could control him, spin him around, bash him, you know, beating up Colossus while using Colossus to hit the beast. Too bad, Maggie. Let's see you try that stunt with a genuine, guaranteed, non-ferrous beast. Cowabunga, sweetums. I've got something better in store for you. Namely, a multi-kilovolt static charge. So he's hitting, you know, Magneto is smart enough, intelligent enough. I will buy this. You know, have you ever seen the stereotypical magnetic field that they draw in comics? It looks like just lines radiating out, like a central line, and then that. Well, if you rotate that, so you have these radiating lines, just, you know, think of an invisible pumpkin, but you can still see the line. If you rotate that and you have a brush, every time one of those lines hits the brush, 1 volt is created. Every line that's broken. And you could do the opposite. You know, so what is he doing? He's using his magnetic powers to generate electricity and blasting the beast with static electricity. There's no comments. Somebody comment, but see if we're still here, and stop the presses. It's the famous Clark Bar superhero sweepstakes. That face always got me. I don't know, it's just silly. I always like that face. You know. Okay. We're here. Cool. Neat. All right. Old Dirty Fatty's here. How you doing? You doing laundry? I gotta do laundry. So boom. He hit the beast. My poor benighted fool. Since my resurrection at the hands of Eric the Red, my powers have been at their peak. No force on earth could stand against me now. Boom. So he blasts Beast with a static blast. And, you know, basically an electrical charge. Beast storm. It only hurts when I laugh. I dare try a direct attack. The last time I did that, he hurled my lightning bolts back at me. Anything less than my full strength won't do good. So I love this. Storm, she's not quite a rookie anymore. You know, she's already fought Magneto. She shot a lightning bolt at him. Magneto hurled the lightning bolt back. Again, just because, you know, it's all electromagnetic energy. And Magneto controls the magnetic spectrum, the magnetic portion of the spectrum. But electricity is not too far away from that. Like I'll for me, like visible light is I would be hard pressed to say that Magneto can manipulate visible light. But electricity and magnetics are really, really close to, on the spectrum. So I will say, like, he's smart enough. He's genius level guy. You know, Xavier, Reed Richards, Tony Stark. So I would say that he would be smart enough to be able to manipulate electricity. Now, Electro, I would say like Electro, in a less grand, could probably manipulate magnetics, but not finesse, because he's been doing it for so long. But like Electro's kind of a dummy. He's a bank robber, whereas Magneto is a world-class master villain. That's just the way I think of it. So what does she do? To my mind, she does something brilliant, and I think there's no defense for this. And I base this on my, years of role-playing games. What, to me, cold is one of the most ultimate attacks. And I'll explain my thinking after I finish this page. But if I should lose control, I might kill him. Is that so wrong? A thought that he has sworn death and worse against me, my friends, yet I've sworn never to kill. A blizzard rips out of nowhere around Magneto, the bitter cold and 100-mile-an-hour winds slicing through the very marrow of his bones. A normal man would have been battered unconscious in seconds. You almost had me, my dear, but at the last minute I held back. But at the last minute you held back. That was a fatal mistake. So what'd he do? He buffets him with wind to keep him. It drops the temperature, and ice and hail is covering him. And Magneto, he uses her goodness against her. She doesn't want to kill him. She hesitates, and then he reacts. Especially when you consider that the extreme cold actually enhances my magnetic powers, turning me into a living superconductor. That is true. If super cooling magnet can increase, it's yeah. So he survived, and it amplifies his magnetic powers. He's doing it again, taking our best shots and then smashing us down. We got Nightcrawler up here, invisible, hiding. Now, in my mind, cold is the absence of energy. Things are cold because kinetic energy is removed. The molecules are vibrating slower and slower and slower. There's nothing to adapt to. You can't adapt to a negative. So to me, cold is one of the best attacks in the fact that, like, it at least in my role-playing games, it bypasses all the defenses. The only defense that literally stops cold is heat and fire. So unless you're the Human Torch, cold is going to get you. So, like, a lot of times in my games when, like, a cold-based villain shows up, they're like, this is going to be bad because, like Sebastian Shaw, he absorbs kinetic energy. So if Iceman was to just have snow, or Storm was to just have snow, Sebastian Shaw, what is he going to absorb? It is anti-energy. It's the removal of energy. So I think cold is such a devastating attack, and you better believe I'm going to have an ice villain, talk about this kind of stuff. If please support my comic, I have so many ideas. Let's check out the comments before I go to the next page. Zach Tan says, I could appear in a comic book. You never know. You could. He could try pelting him with hail. His armor looks tough. That's what she's trying. And the only reason he survived is Storm was merciful. Your writers have to respect the power set of characters, not let power creep ruin their unique flavor. Occasionally, there could be second mutation, but it has to be artfully done. I agree. To the point where Hulk isn't interesting anymore. Hulk, he can't die. Hulk is so powerful, he's not interesting. He's Marvel's most overpowered being right now. That's good coffee. That is good coffee. Make a married woman named Frigid. Her power is to keep your husband wanting. Hey, it's Arkham. How you doing? Great idea about de-energizing Sebastian Shaw via cold. Yeah. Because he absorbs kinetic energy. Cold is the absence of kinetic energy. So cold would be his... I'm not going to say his weakness, because everybody's vulnerable to cold. Like, weakness is like not everybody's... The normal human isn't vulnerable to the color yellow. So Green Lantern's weakness is yellow because it affects him more than everybody else. So, like, Sebastian, he doesn't have a weakness to cold. It's just that cold, his powers doesn't protect him versus cold. Not great for comment, but I like Storm's compassion. Yes. She's still portrayed as innocent, As we'll see in future issues, she does things that, like, oh yeah, she grew up in, like, Kenya, Oh, can the Human Torch beat Iceman? That's, I know they skirmished a few times, but I don't think they ever went full out. That would be a real interesting fight, though. And I would like to see that done by a real talented writer who respects the logic of each powers. Like I was on Bandito's channel last night, and we were talking about Batman, and I said Batman only wins because the editors say Batman wins. Like in no universe could Batman beat Superman. Even with kryptonite, Batman can't beat Superman, because my logic is Superman's a genius. He knows Batman's paranoid. So if I was Superman, even if I was friends, I would scan him and be like, what's that lead case you got on your utility belt? Do you have kryptonite again? Like I would, Superman can hear from Saturn and Jupiter. And then when Batman starts to release the kryptonite, Superman fast backs up, uses his super breath, blows it away. You know what I mean? Like there's no way Superman ever loses to Batman. But editors got to make it so that Batman wins. So as far as Human Torch and Iceman, that is really evenly. It would come out to who's more clever. Who's more clever. I could see like it basically comes down to punching each other, right? Like their powers cancel each other out. So Iceman would have an ice shield, Human Torch would have fire shield. They blast each other all day long. No one's going to get anywhere. So it would have to come down to who has better fighting skills, right? That would be a fun comic. By the way, when a human body is completely frozen, it can't be revived. The cellular structure has been compromised since it has been crystallized. Yes, all the water expands and all your cells burst. That's what frostbite is. Is your cells actually bursting. Superman is not a genius. He's a super genius, like Wile E. Coyote. Am I live or am I Memorex? I'm Memorex. No, I'm live. I worked early this morning and I didn't want to record anything because my favorite part of this is interacting with people. So I appreciate that we got so many people watching. Thank you. It's always been Human Torch. Tell them I Bobby beyond Omega, lame and gay. It's an Elseworld, but I like the way Lex Luthor gets one over on Superman and Red Sun. Yeah, that's what the Elseworlds are, is to explore everything like that. Let's get to the next page. I always like this. I drew this over and over, this panel. Nobody draws Storm like better than John Byrne. I'm sorry. Nobody draws Storm better. So Nightcrawler, I always like that Nightcrawler hides and waits for the most opportune moment to attack. In certain respects, he's the weakest of the X-Men, so he has to be more clever. Sorry, all the Nightcrawler fans. I am a Nightcrawler fan, but he now, as far as I know, Nightcrawler is not that much physically stronger than a well trained, well muscular human, but he's more agile, so that makes him more dangerous, and the teleportation, and he's well trained. You know what I mean? But he is a formidable foe. But don't get me mad. We're talking about a team of juggernauts. So Nightcrawler jumps out. If I had any sense, I'd stay hidden in the shadows. After all, I'm no more than a glorified acrobat. You see, he just agrees with what I said, so don't get mad. Magneto, Deck, Beast, Storm, Colossus. What chance do I have? But who said I wanted to live forever? Nightcrawler, he doesn't even get to do anything. He jumps and he gets blasted, and Magneto doesn't even face him. Magneto's just like, be gone. Nightcrawler, villain, what are you doing to him? Merely hurling up at the same rate I bring you down. So Colossus, remember, Colossus has been flying around through the air being controlled by Magneto, and now he's using Colossus as a blunt force instrument to destroy Nightcrawler. So what does Colossus do? Turns human. Boom, Nightcrawler. They both hit each other, but he doesn't splatter Nightcrawler, and it kind of breaks Magneto's control over him. Boom, but they're both knocked out. No bones are broken, no permanent damage done, but both men will be out for quite a while. 5 down, 3 to go. So it's the truth, boyo, and none of us are lightweights. So here we got Banshee over here. I've come too far to be beaten now, Banshee, by you or anyone. What is this then? He trying to fuse those little iron flakes of iron against my body again? Sorry, Maggie, me lad, but Banshee's too old and too cagey a bird to be snared by the same way tries. So what's going on is this is, everybody right now. Well, maybe I just took a shower, but like people have iron flakes on them. It's one of the more common elements on the earth. So like Magneto used that last time to basically against him as a weapon. He pulled it on him and trapped him in these iron flakes. Now, if I were Magneto, and I'm not, in case you were wondering, I would have a whole bunch of iron dust throughout my lair. You know what I mean? Maybe just have like little, like in the vent system or whatever. If you don't want it to be dusty, I don't know, you got sensitive equipment, but I would have like boxes of iron shavings and just, raise his hand and boom, you got all the stuff. So what's he doing? He's trying to make a shell around Banshee again. And Banshee's using his sonic powers to repel it. So we got magnetic powers against the sonic defense. And this is something that I like. I made a point of this last time. Banshee shouldn't be talking when he's flying because he's screaming. The screaming creates this vibration, whatever magic science, and he flies because of his sonic powers. So they finally caught up to that, and they're giving him thought balloons. He's thinking. Somebody must have pointed that out. It just bothered me last time. Banshee can't talk because he needs to scream in order to fly. And if I was to write Banshee, he would only fly short distances because when he catches his breath, he would drop and then start screaming again. So Banshee would fly like a dish rag. So I don't think Banshee would have the stamina to fly across the ocean. You know what I mean? Just try to scream the hours that it takes. You know what I mean? So I like that. He's cool. He can fly, but it puts like a natural logical limitation on a cool ability. That's the kind of stuff I love. Again, in my comic books, my superheroes aren't going to be world-class breakers, except for a few exceptions. But the Patriarch is not as strong as Superman, nor do I want him to be as strong as Superman. I like stuff like Banshee. In my mind, Banshee, you could time it. This is how long for him it takes to hold his breath. He's falling while he's inhaling, and then how long could you do that? You could fly across the Grand Canyon, but could he fly across Arizona? That's tough. All right, so what is Banshee? Magneto's not a fool. He'll put all his faith in a single stratagem. Lord in heaven, he's warping me. Sonic scream back at me. Walls vibrating. Low frequency sonics. His mind, entire body feel like. Now I'm calling BS on this. So Magneto is vibrating the walls to make a counter frequency. I'm calling BS on that. Just throw an I-beam at him. You know what I mean? Just blast him in the chest and he hits the wall. You know what I mean? This is up there with the Human Torch making a flaming stethoscope to listen in on the Wizard's conversation. Sometimes I just don't like this. So he's vibrating the walls at low frequencies. Banshee should be able to counter the frequencies. Banshee is the master of sound. Magneto is the master of magnetics. In this battle, Banshee should win. That's my rule, is the specialist always wins. So now it's down to, so Banshee got taken out. BS. I'm calling BS on that one. Everybody else, fine. Everybody else, I think it's pretty clever. That's BS. So now Cyclops has blasted Magneto. Boom. Your optic blasts are strong as ever, Cyclops, but this time I'm ready for them. So what? What happens? Everyone goes off and attacks alone. No coordination, no strategy, no brain. Now, I'm also calling BS on this. How can this is just pure force. They're not ferrous, so I don't see how Magneto's magnetic shields are blocking Cyclops' blast, but what do I know? I guess we just have to accept it. I call BS on this. This one I call a minor BS. You know what I mean? In my mind, to my logic, Cyclops' blast should just go right through. There's nothing ferrous or magnetic or energy. Well, I mean, it's energy, but it's literally concussed. It's like getting hit with bricks. It's not electromagnetic. So Magneto shouldn't have any control over it. You know what I mean? Like if it's electromagnetic, like Storm's lightning blast, yes, Magneto could deal with it. But this is extra dimensional physical force. That's beyond the electromagnetic spectrum. I know this is super nerdy stuff, but this is the kind of stuff that I love for. I can fly. How did Magneto use magnetism to stop? Exactly. You're with me on this one. I got one guy in my corner. Magneto is rolling to use his power in an unusual way. Yeah. Look at my hair. Magneto's causing my hair to go crazy. Wow, a lot of people watching. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Let's go to the next page. Hey, kids, get with it. Get pizzazz. I haven't told the pizzazz story in a long time, so I'll tell it now. But I used to date a girl that ran a comic book store in Albuquerque, a woman, and they had their family owned like the strip mall, and behind the store they stored comic books. And man, I loved going back there. It was like the Indiana Jones room, just comic books everywhere, long boxes of comic books. It was just a cool place to be. And somebody broke into the warehouse and they just grabbed the first 6 boxes of comic books. And now something either scared them away or they couldn't take any more boxes. Who knows? I wasn't there. And they drove away. And it was 6 boxes of pizzazz. So when she got to work, her and her father got to work, like, oh, we got robbed. Oh, they took pizzazz. Thank you. You know what I mean? Like, you basically took toilet paper. That's my pizzazz story. I tell it every once in a while. Cyclops beam is physical, thus magnet. Is it physical? It's energy, but it's kinetic energy. Now, like, I know this is nerdy, and I'm not going to get like angry arguing over it, but this is the kind of nerd argument that I enjoy. It's extra dimensional kinetic energy. It's just pure kinetic energy. So how is magnetism stopping it? Like, you know, it's impact. It's not electromagnetic. It's not ferrous metal. So to me, to my way of thinking, Cyclops would be probably the most dangerous person to fight Magneto. You know, next would probably be Iceman. But what do I know? Like I said, I'm not going to argue with that until it's described in the comic book. That's just the way I'm thinking. And it drives me nuts whenever I see other people writing Cyclops with heat vision. Oh, God. Pizzazz is the retro Riz. The best thing they could have stolen. Yeah, they literally cleaned out the back of the warehouse. So he forgets that unlike you, I could do 2 things at once. Shield myself from your optic blast and at the same time counterattack. So I love that. He puts up a magnetic force shield and then blasts Cyclops or pulls a magnetic object, a metallic object into Cyclops' back. Oh, God, that must hurt. Back injuries aren't. You could tell when you're, older than 40 and you get hit in the back. You're like, oh, even watching other people, the knees, the back. Oh, God. First off, Magneto, the name isn't Marvel Girl. Oh, what does he say, Marvel Girl? Shield myself from the blast at the same time. With only Marvel Girl keeping me from total victory. First off, Magneto, the name isn't Marvel Girl anymore. What, in the name of sanity? I'm being assaulted on a myriad level, psychic and physical and psychic. The power rivals Xavier's. It's Phoenix. So, point of order. Okay, so she's assaulting him psychically. That's fine. Psychic, there's no explanation for that in the real world, whatever. It's just psychic attack. So she's mentally haranguing him. But she's also using telekinesis. To me, telekinesis, it's far away kinetics. It's really a more refined Cyclops' eye beams. Yet his magnetics aren't stopping her. So I don't think, how is her ability? I mean, yes, she is messing with his brain. Okay, so I'll give you that. Or now, what, almighty master of magnetism? How could you even hope to stand once he gets the power? Is born of the raging sun itself. That's so great over here. I'm doing it. I'm forcing Magneto back, beating him. For the first time in my life, he actually looks scared. Her power is a song within her. filling her with a small primal glory, an unhuman joy, and she's beginning to enjoy more and more. So here we got Phoenix, just Deus Ex Machina Magneto. You know, they're setting her up as the Mary Sue. You know what I mean? Dude, I stole this long box from a store. Cool, what's in it? 300 copies of Amethyst Annual #1. Score! I liked Amethyst. Amethyst was a lot better than it should have been. It was a cheesy premise, but they did a good job with it. I liked Amethyst. Do I want 300 copies of Annual #1? No. If you froze Cyclops in time, your hand wouldn't pass through the beam, but push it. Yeah. If you had time stop ability and everything froze, I think Cyclops' beam would be solid. Like, if it froze, it's not moving, so I don't think it would push you, but it would feel like super dense, like a brick. That's what I think. It wouldn't be hot. You know, it wouldn't be shocking or anything like that. It would feel like bricks coming out of his eyes, like, and then, you know. Doesn't his helmet protect him? Yes, it does. But it's not. That's comic books for you. You know, everything works until the writer says it doesn't work. Ooh, dark foreshadowing. Yes, they're building up to the Phoenix saga. They've been building it up since X-Men 100. You know, so 37 issues. And keep in mind, this is the first monthly issue. So it was by month. So this has been years in the building. And that's something that Marvel needs to understand. You need to have a consistent team so that you could drop subplots, that you could build foreshadowing, that you could build drama and suspense. Chris Claremont was a master of that. Sometimes he would get annoying because he would forget threads and you know, storylines, stuff like that. But there's a website, I don't know if it's still active, but it was basically forgotten Chris Claremont subplots that were never resolved. But this is comic books at its best. Long-term story building. It rewarded the long reader, but the casual reader could also enjoy it. It's so good. It's honestly not bad. Yeah. Do I want 300 copies? No, and that's what you get for stealing. What did you do with them all? Did you throw them away? Made my Amethyst Annual #1 more valuable? Let's turn the page. Oh, we got ads. We got ads. Again, I say this every time. This is what made comic books so cheap, is all of these ads. Every one of these boxes, somebody paid. Somebody paid for this, and that made the comic book more affordable for children. And they were happy to pay because they got 100,000 eyeballs on their products, you know? Nowadays, I keep saying this, it's so sad that modern comic books, Marvel and DC, it's all house ads. You know, you don't see poems, banks, you know, muscles. Maybe do you see video games? I imagine you probably see video games, but for video games outsell comic books. Keep in mind, video games, home console systems at this point, they were big, but comic books were still bigger. So it made sense to advertise in the comic books to get sales. But video games don't need comic books to sell them anymore. They sell themselves. It's really is a shame. Oh, let's look at the I agree. That's what Mr. Veach said. Agree about what? About what? What are you agreeing with me with? I want credit for agreement. People agreeing with. I found a copy of Barry Windsor Smith Opus 1 and 2 for cover price, but the jackets are messed up. But I still want them. Yeah, Barry Windsor Smith is so talented. So talented. Now we got the letter page. Peter Sanderson. One letter. Armageddon Now and X-Men 108 is stupendous, mind-blowing, revolutionary, and otherworldly, nearly indescribable. So it's one letter, all about X-Men 108. Peter Sanders. I love reading the letter pages now. You know, I did this. Did you guys read the letter pages when you got these comics? I assume that you guys are moderately around my age. You know, Arkham, I know you're around my age. Did you read the letter pages? I used to read the comic and then go back and read the letters page. There's no way I'm stopping this action to read the letters page. You know, but I would read the comic and then go back. But the thing I didn't read was the Boltons. I only read them now, but I didn't read that stuff as a kid. So even as the song crescendos within her, it abruptly ends. What is happening? Magneto's fighting back. I need more power. But there's no more left. I've reached some kind of limit, but I thought I had no limit. So this is this is plot. Magneto wins. Why? Because he needs to win. He needs to win for the sake of the story. She falters, and sensing a weakness, Magneto strikes, shaping the magnetic forces of the Earth itself to create a bottle effect around Phoenix that draws her life energy out of her like a sponge. You buy it, but when you examine it, it makes no sense. So he uses Earth's magnetic field to drain her powers. Maggie's getting the kibosh on Jeannie. She looks like she's going down for the count. Game, set, and match, Phoenix. 8 of you entered my domain. 8 have gone down to defeat at my... Not yet, Bob. Missed it. Blast. I only caught his flaming cape. So I love this. Wolverine goes for the kill. Go for the kill, Wolverine. That's what you do. You're stab man. Use your powers to stab. Must take a sip. Madman, this time you've pushed your luck too far. You're very quick to threaten people with those claws, Wolverine. My hand. Let's see how it feels to be on the receiving end for a change. They're close enough, and I can't stop them. Lucky for you, little man. I want you and your companions alive. Pleasant dreams. So Snick, he pulls in the claws and has Wolverine punch himself, like your big brother did to you. Stop punching yourself. Stop punching yourself. I have 2 older brothers, and yes, they did that. And yes, I did it to my little brother. We got to break the cycle. Yes, I read the letters pages. I read the mailroom in the back sometimes. I read everything front to back and studied the details. Did you read the letters page in Heroic Tales? And write letters. heroicmails@yahoo.com. Write letters to Heroic, and it'll stay in that folder, and I will put them in the comics. So, yes, letters. Long-term comic storytelling isn't being done anymore over years. Okay, that he's agreeing with that. So, I agree. That's what Mr. Veach said. And okay, so these two. Okay, I get you. Good. It's a shame. It really is a shame. Among my childhood friends, I was the de facto comics authority. I knew most of the credits and prices of comics. I was the newcomer. I got into, like I said, when I was a kid, there was always comic books around. It was just part of being a kid in America. Even if you weren't into comics, you still had comics, you still read comics, you were still familiar with comics. And then, so my older brothers, my 2 older sisters, there was always comic books in the house between Archie's and Flash and whatever, Fantastic Four. They were always around. But it wasn't until 3rd grade. So, what was I, 9? 3rd grade? 8 or 9? I got into comics. And I couldn't read, and comic books got me to read. And my friend Carl and my friend Sean got me into comics. And I quickly, because of my obsessive personality, became the comic book guy, like really, really quick. Even though Carl was into comics longer, and he had an older brother that was into comics, and he obsessively bought comics and then gave all his comics to Carl. And so Carl, like by the time 3rd grade came along, he had an impressive comic book collection because it was his brother's. I was building my comic book, but man, I studied everything. I memorized everything that I could. You're talking about the kid that had index cards of Arthurian knights and the gravities of planets and stuff like that. So I was like cataloging comic book characters from day one. So we got Wolverine punching himself. Now, here's the thing. Would Wolverine be freaking out if at this point we knew he had the adamantium skeleton and regeneration powers? You know what I mean? Would Wolverine be that freaked out? He could survive being stabbed. Like it wouldn't even, unless it went into his eyes and nose, it wouldn't even penetrate because he has adamantium bones. You know what I mean? So this to me indicates that Wolverine is still in the larval stage, metaphorically speaking. He's using a bunch of hocus pocus with magnetic words thrown in. Yes. Exactly. You know what I mean? Jean Grey was beating Magneto until Chris Claremont was like, "No, wait, you can't win. We gotta have them defeated and captured first." So Magneto plot armor is protecting him. Long term is manga now. I absolutely agree. That's why manga is clobber in comics, because of the long term storytelling, the rewarding, the start, middle, finish. Late Sunday comics, graveyard shift. Yeah, no, actually the opposite. I worked a regular shift. I went in at 6:30 this morning until 3:00. You know what I mean? And then I came home and took a little bit of a nap because it's just difficult to change your sleep schedule. Yeah, so thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. My first comic was Daredevil and Conan from my brother's stash. There you go. John, are there any Christmas backdrop comic book stores that you can think of where there are good call? The only one I can think of offhand is this X-Men, the Kitty Pryde, when she fights the alien. There was a Christmas tree and everything like that. But if that's a good question, put it in the comments, not the chat. Put them in the comments if you can think of any Christmas comics, because I'll do that for around Christmas. I could survive losing a fingernail, but I strongly avoid it. What happened? Did you get hurt? I think this was the first time his own claws were turned on him. Yes. Wolverine's amnesia is making him forget about his healing abilities. Does he even have amnesia at this point? You know what I mean? Like, again, this is blank slate Wolverine. They're making stuff up as they go along. We go to the next page. Look at that panel. Look at that freaking panel. Just good stuff. I won. I faced the deadliest foes and beat them all. It was a long time before his laughter fades, and a much longer time before the X-Men awaken. So he's got to gloat. He's got to rub it in their faces. Don't kill them all. Put them in the unnecessarily slow dipping mechanism. This is pure supervillainy. I mean, this is just madman stuff. He's literally, they went through an active volcano to the underground base, defeats them all, puts them in traps, and then now he's going to start monologuing. I mean, there's a reason why that scene in The Incredibles works so well. I mean, you going to tell me Brad Bird didn't read X-Men comic books? I'm a proud man, X-Men. Your mentor Charles Xavier, my treacherous creation Alpha, humbled me. In their hands, I was reduced to infancy, but even then, deep within my soul, I remembered what I had been and hated what I had become in my rage. I swore dark and bloody vengeance against Xavier, those who loves best in the world, you, X-Men. And when I was first resurrected, I determined to kill you all, but I found a better revenge. This is Nanny. She will tend to your every need. In all respects, you'll find her to be the perfect mother. Hello, children. It's nice to meet you. I hope we shall all be friends. This is just psychopath stuff. This is Magneto was a madman, a raving lunatic madman. Look at this. So he's got a robot nanny. This complex will be your home and prison, X-Men. These chairs your cells. Your circuitry is locked into your central nervous system. But rather than bore you with the words, I think a demonstration is in order. Try to use your powers, X-Men. Try simply to speak, and there you will find the last of this nightmare surprises. Look at them. Like, what is going on? One by one, they try, and one by one, they discover they can't. Their minds are as clear as ever, but somewhere along the line, their neural circuits are being scrambled. Their moves are random, uncoordinated. The words, they try to emerge primal sounds. One by one, their faces twist to massive horror as they begin to realize what's been done to them. So they're trapped. They can think, but somewhere along the line, their impulses are scrambled. So they can't move anything, which explains why Cyclops has the visor on, because, somewhere from the neck down, it seems to be affecting, which means he should have a gag on. But I guess his throat, okay, I'll buy that. His throat's got the scrambler on. Okay. So they can't use their powers. An eye for an eye, X-Men. You will not die, but you will soon wish you had. You will suffer as I suffered, to be aware of who you are and what you are, and to each possess your powers to the fullest, yet to be unable to use them as a 6-month child, to be helpless. There's hell, X-Men, and you are now trapped in it. So what he's doing is Magneto created Alpha, this ultimate robot, and Alpha turned on him and turned him into a wee little baby. And then Eric the Red put that baby back. So old Holocaust surviving Magneto got turned into a baby, and then the baby got aged up. So he's younger now. He still has the gray silver hair because he's a mutant, not because he's old. So he's like a 25-year-old body right now, with all the experience and memories, everything. So what he's doing is like, you want to turn me into a baby, even though it happened in the Defenders and had nothing to do with the X-Men, but I'm a madman, so I'm going to take it on you. You guys are now going to live as children. So Nanny will feed them, Nanny will bathe them, change their diapers, and they're just going to live like that for the rest of their lives. It's kind of hellish. They can't talk. They're just going to watch each other be babied. It's really, really creepy, and it's really, really torturous. Zachtan, the thing worse than tyranny, the nanny state. There you go. Damn, John Byrne's art is amazing, isn't it? Isn't it so good? Let me know in the comments. Is this the first time you've seen this stuff? Is this the first time you've seen these issues? I like to think that I'm providing you with a service. The shot of Magneto lifting his cape in triumph is amazing. It is so good. Can you guys see why I became obsessed with Bronze Age Marvel? Can you see why this is what I'm trying to recapture? I mean, look at this. Look at this. And again, Chris Claremont is walking a fine line. This is torture. This is really, really creepy. The X-Men are trapped facing each other, and this robot is going to take care of them. It's sadistic. It's really, really creepy. This is messed up. I totally agree. These comics had some wild plots. Yep. Bronze is the greatest era in comic. I have to agree. So Triumph and Tragedy. And what do we got here? Oh, look at this ad. Oh, my God. Look at this ad. We got Earth's Mightiest Heroes. This is George Perez drawing the Avengers. This is also George Perez drawing the Fantastic Four, inked by Joe Sinnott. This is Gil Kane doing the Defenders. This is Dave Cockrum, X-Men. And I don't know who's doing. I think that's Herb Trimpe doing the Invaders. Spider-Man meets the Home Wrecker. The Home Wrecker. I love to see that big black ball take its toll on walls. And this time I've got Spider-Man as a bonus. I like the way he talked. I love these light, tender crust, the real fruit filling of Hostess fruit pies. I couldn't keep my hands off them. At least I could still enjoy this delicious Hostess fruit pie. The night isn't a total loss. So Spider-Man, the monstrous Spider-Man, defeats people with disgusting, horrible fruit pies. We got more ads. Again, every one of these boxes, somebody paid to be in here, thus reducing the price of the comic book for the kids. And look at this. Fishing tackle, fishing reels. Back then kids still went outside. You read your comic book, and then you went outside and you did stuff. And then look at that Jack Davis Spalding ad. It says Jack Davis right there. Barry and Dr. J playing basketball with the Spalding basket. It's just so good. Wow, that ad is too cool. Yeah, I agree. Arkham, the Home Wrecker, talking about big black balls. Kim Kardashian, wow, the Home Wrecker. He's going to seduce MJ. The Home Wrecker is a slut. So there you go. That's X-Men 112. Now, you know what's coming. Again, let me know in the chat. Is this the first time you've seen this comic? Is this the first time you've seen this era of comics? Or are you familiar with these comics and you just appreciate them as much as I did? I'm curious what everybody thinks. I sometimes forget that people haven't been reading comic books as long as me, and I just get outraged. Gail Simone posted a picture of the X-Men, and Emma Frost is in the front, and everybody's like, "Oh, Emma Frost is my favorite X-Men," and I'm like, and I have to post because I'm a crazy person. I go, Emma Frost is a child trafficking rapist, and that can never be forgiven or washed away, because people don't know these stories. You'll see. We'll get to it. It's like another 6 or 7 issues before she debuts. You'll see what I'm talking about. She's a great villain, but she's not a good guy. There's no redeeming her. It's like Jeffrey Epstein. All of a sudden, I'm good now. I'm good now. No. But so what do you guys think? Are we done? I'll wait a couple of seconds. At this point, I usually talk about the week. So probably Wednesday, I'm going to do a comic book team up with RJ on my channel. I'll talk to RJ and we'll see. We'll set that up. But other than that, I have nothing scheduled except for Friday night. We're going to do what did we decide to do? It's Clobber time. Oh man, I forget. Oh, dead themed villains or dead themed characters. Dead themed. So if the character, the superhero villain, has anything to do with death, we're gonna talk about it. So that's it's Clobbering time. But other than that, I got nothing scheduled, nothing planned. I'm still fulfilling. I hope to get the comics out to you as soon as possible. I hope to be done by this time next week. That's my goal. Things just going slow. It's myself sitting over there, putting on a video about Tolkien, watching a video while going through the motions, sending out back, and then having to go to the post. The only bad thing is I probably won't get to go to the post office until Friday, because when I get home, the post office is going to be closed. So I probably won't. So Friday I'll have an extra big bundle of comics to mail. So other than that, that's everything. That cover doesn't do the interior art any justice. Yeah, this is George Perez and Bob Layton artwork. And I gotta say, I don't know why John Byrne doesn't get the covers, but I do know what is X-Men. I do know that John Byrne does the covers from 114 up. So next issue 113. I'm curious if John Byrne. I think next issue is the first John Byrne cover, and then he does the covers for the rest of his career with the X-Men. To what I forget what issue was it. 149 when he left. So, again, John Byrne isn't famous yet. George Perez is a bigger name. Bob Layton is a bigger name. This is the series that made him the comic book legend that he deserves and is ever since. So maybe they thought he wasn't going to sell yet. I don't know. Any Thanksgiving Day plans? Yes, my wife and I are having Thanksgiving Thursday, just her and I. I have a huge family, and everybody seems to go and have their own family over for dinner. And I usually go to my sister's, but my sister's not feeling well. She's in physical therapy for her back and her leg. So she's not cooking. So she's going to her in-laws' house, and I don't feel right going. I barely know her sister-in-law. I don't really know them. So me and my wife are just going to have Thanksgiving here. I really want to. So she's going to cook all day, and I'm going to fulfill orders all day long. And that's it. I get to sleep late, don't have to go to work, eat my favorite. I love Thanksgiving dinner. My wife can take it or leave it, but she's a sweetheart. She's cooking the big thing, the turkey, the gravy, mashed potatoes, the corn, string beans, the string bean casserole, which I'm not a fan of, but she likes. So, corn, like honey glazed corn, honey glazed carrots rather. Did I say stuffing, gravy, and the cranberry sauce? That's Thanksgiving. And then my favorite, chocolate pudding pie with whipped cream. Whipped cream is my favorite dessert. My second favorite dessert is chocolate pudding, then ice cream. So there you go. What are you guys doing for Thanksgiving? Good night. Happy Thanksgiving. Have a blessed day. You too. Did you read John Byrne's X-Men Elsewhere? No, I didn't read it yet. It's being published, but it's not finished. So I'm super annoyed. Are you finishing it, John? Is that are you going to do that But I looked through it. I knew the art is really, really good. For those of you who don't know what we're talking about, John Byrne did fan fiction. I know it's funny to think, but he's a pro. And he, on his website, John Byrne Robotics, he just did pages and pages and pages of X-Men. He was continuing his X-Men stories as if he never left. So just ignoring, I forget the exact number, 150 and beyond. So it's just pretending he continued what he wanted to do with the X-Men. And he didn't sell it. So Marvel can't do poop about it. So it's just John Byrne's glorious art. He's a good writer doing his stuff. I don't think it was colored. And Marvel has for years has been offering money to buy it from him, and he's like, no. And now they finally, I don't know, does he need money or does he want to do it or whatever? But Marvel is going to publish it. So I'll read it. I'll read it when it comes out. It'll be the first time since 2015 that I'll be buying Marvel comics off the rack. I think he said it was finished. He wasn't going to work on it anymore, but he said he's being haunted by a new Defender storyline. Oh, so he's doing the same thing with Defenders? It wasn't inked either. Oh, so it was just pencils? It was just pencils? Oh, that means they're going to get somebody else to ink it and ruin it. Oh, God. But there you go. That's Sunday Comics. I threw you for a loop another time, but geez, I got a lot of people watching, so thank you. I don't know what else to say. Anybody? Bueller? I got a refund for this, and then I still got the comic. Splato Comics. You know, that's the exciting news. I got Project Analysis. Oh, I'm giving my address. So I got Project Analysis. Got to open that up. You know, I haven't been reading any comics because I'm doing the fulfilling. So there you go. All right, looks like the comments are done. God bless you, Dirty Fatty. I got nothing else to say. If anybody this week, if anybody wants to come on my channel at my regular 7 o'clock time, hit me up. We'll talk comics. It will be a nice break. But other than that, next time I see you guys, it'll probably be Wednesday, unless other people want to pop in. So I'll see you Wednesday. And if I don't see you, have a happy Thanksgiving. I guess it's time for me to say good night, kids.
Goodbye, kids.